Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And in sensational news, Boris Johnson has quit as an MP. And alongside him has Nadine Dorries. She went first, and then a few hours later, he went. She left because her ascendancy, if you will, to the House of Lords was blocked. Boris named her in his resignation honours list. But the committee blocked her assent, basically said no. And so she said, well, that's that then, and quit. Boris, on the other hand, was being censured by the Standards Committee, who are the same board that got rid of Margaret Ferrier earlier this week. And he knew that if he got the 10 days, it would go to a by-election, there'd be a recall. I think in his case, he would most likely win it. And here's the thing, and this is why I'm going to look at this story, but I think in the back of my mind, Boris is not leaving politics. He's quitting as an MP in order that he may force an immediate by-election. Having done that, if he wins and comes back, then that censure doesn't count. This is very clever of him, because he can only be censured if it goes to a vote in the House of Commons. If it doesn't go to the vote, then he's not censured. But having quit as an MP, he goes off, he fights a by-election, and he comes back, then he's effectively a new MP, and what's happened before doesn't count. This in itself is a clever move. Secondly, if he goes away and then comes back, he can do a direct challenge to Rishi Sunak. And I think that's the plan. I think this is all part of a plan by Boris to retake control of the Conservative Party. And I also think that he's likely to win it. Although there are a lot of people in the party who don't like him personally, I think even the ones who don't like him appreciate that he is the only one who can save the Tory party at this point, because the things they've done is very, very unpopular. Ever since he left, the party has been in disarray. The country has not been sort of governed efficiently. You've got a man in the name of Hunt who seems to be going out of his way to utterly destroy the economy. You've got Rishi Sunak, who is effectively an American citizen now, with his green card, and his billionaire non-dom for tax purposes wife. They don't really care. They've got no vested interest in the future of this country. And it seems that only Boris can coalesce the party around him, but can coalesce the country around him. And I've said it before, the great red wall in the north that turned blue at the last election and gave Boris their vote. They did not vote for the Tory party. They voted for Boris. And now, if he does this and comes back, he will look them in the eye and say, you may think whatever you think. He says, but the people of Uxbridge, his constituency, have said they want me back. And if he gets voted back in, that is a challenge, and it is absolutely delicious to watch. Now, as for Nadine, I do feel sorry for her. She was given this promotion, if you will, or this uplift from the Commons to the Lords by Boris in his resignation speech. A few of the others have gone. They will also force by-elections, and a couple of them are likely to be lost by the Tory party. This is the threat that Boris has done. He's given these people these uplifts. They've taken it. But Boris wanted Nadine to go up as well. However, because she was blocked, she's going to have to stay there. Now, of course, she's sensationally quit as well with immediate effect. And that means there's another by-election. So the Conservatives are looking at somewhere between 3 and 4, depending on how it goes, 3 or 4 by-elections in a very short period of time, not including the one, of course, in Rutherglen. They've got no chance of winning the one in Rutherglen and Hamilton East, or Hamilton West, sorry. They've got no chance of winning that. That's going to go to Labour from the Independent. I say the Independent / SNP, Margaret Ferrier. Labour will take that seat. If Labour doesn't take that seat, I'll eat my hat. But these others are going to be a lot closer fought elections, and that'll provide a major headache for Rishi Sunak. Because if he loses a couple of them and Boris wins his one back, Rishi is going to have to admit that Boris is a real threat and a challenge, and that is why it's going to be so delicious. So it's all up in the air, but we're going to take a look at this very quickly. I'm not going to make this a long piece, but I just wanted to get what I think is happening over Boris's resignation. Anyway, we'll go in here, we'll have a quick look at this and see what exactly is going on, and what the future holds, both for Boris and the Tory party. It'll be interesting. So Boris Johnson sensationally quits as MP after Partygate probe rules he did mislead Parliament. The ex-PM lambasts the kangaroo court of Remainers who have forced him out, saying he is very sad to be leaving Parliament for now. And I think he is definitely, that line alone said he's definitely coming back. But of course, you see, you cannot punish a man who's no longer an MP. So the Standards Committee that would then take this thing to the vote in the House of Commons can't do that now. He's not an MP. And so there we go. Ultimately, he wins. He's not been censured. The former leader stunned Westminster by resigning his seat with immediate effect. Launched an attack on the Privileges Committee led by Labour's Harriet Harman. Harriet Harman, of course, famously was the spokesperson for Pi. So she's hardly someone sitting there on any kind of moral high ground pontificating about what Boris did or didn't do during lockdown. She is the woman that supports and was the mouthpiece for an organisation that really has no right in even existing. For younger viewers, please do go and Google Harriet Harman and Pi, and that's like PIE, not the Roman, the Greek numeral pi. No, pi as in a certain information exchange. Let's put it that way. Go Google it. This is Harriet Harman. So she's hardly one to be sitting there and castigating others. Anyway, in an angry late night statement, the former PM said he was standing down as an MP with immediate effect, and his departure stunned Rishi Sunak, and there was dismay at number 10 of the prospect of a fresh round of Tory bloodletting. Mr Johnson's decision to go 3.5 years after he won a landslide election victory will raise fresh doubts whether the Conservatives can hang on to power at next year's election. The answer, quite simply, is no. There is no chance of the Tories winning the next election. The only reason you would have to have Boris back is to stop it being a complete rout. As it stands, I would estimate that Labour could have maybe a 300-seat majority. It would be immense. And the Tories would be, not even decimated. They would be wiped out. It would be the worst election result for the Conservatives. Even worse, and this is the thing, it would be even worse than Blair's first victory, and that was a record for Labour. Incidentally, and this is an amazing thing, Tony Blair is the only Labour leader to be elected into office since 1974, or 1975. So in nearly 50 years, he is the only Labour leader to be, only Labour Prime Minister voted into office. Isn't that stunning? Anyway, just 24 hours earlier, Mr Johnson, 58, was handed the findings of the controversial Commons Privileges Committee inquiry into Partygate, which sealed his fate. This inquiry, led by Labour's former deputy leader, Harriet, friend of the awful people, Harman, is understood to have ruled that he lied to Parliament when he said no rules were broken during gatherings at number 10. The committee is thought to advise that he should be suspended for at least 10 days, triggering a by-election in his West London constituency, which he will probably win. And so, by going early, he's going to have that election anyway, but he'll have it on his own terms. Mr Johnson said last night he was the victim of a witch hunt by forces seeking revenge for Brexit. He said the 14-month inquiry had not produced one shred of evidence that he lied to Parliament about lockdown gatherings in number 10, and he accused Miss Harman's committee of setting out to destroy him. I think he will rise like a phoenix from this. Now we know, to be fair, he is an awful man. He is a liar. He is someone that you wouldn't necessarily trust. He's someone that can look you in the eye and tell you black is white, and you'd believe him. And he is the father of more children than even he knows. He's a serial adulterer and so forth. But, and this is the thing, and this is priceless, and especially in a politician, it's utterly priceless. He is personally charming. Regardless of all he does, he comes across as a likeable buffoon. But don't let that veneer of buffoonery confuse you. The man has got a very, very sharp brain. He's politically a very astute man. He just puts on this veneer of stupidity to disaffect people, and they put them off their stride. They think they're dealing with an idiot. Far from it, they're dealing with an intensely clever man. But anyway, he going up. In a 1,000-word resignation statement, Mr. Johnson took a swipe at Mr. Sunak, who allies accused of wanting to destroy his predecessor. He said the Tory majority he won in 2019 was clearly at risk under his successor. That is a line of challenge, of course. Mr. Johnson urged the PM to adopt a pro-growth agenda, including tax cuts, to boost the economy. Our party needs urgently to recapture its sense of momentum and its belief that what this country can do. We must not be afraid to be a properly conservative government. And you haven't got one at the moment. You've got blue socialists, especially with Hunt, keep putting up the interest rates, keep raising taxes. He seems to think that that's going to help things. It utterly won't. Former Cabinet Minister Sir John Redwood, another one who comes across to the public as a bit odd, but is generally regarded as one of the cleverest people in Parliament. He said Boris urges a new commitment to the 2019 manifesto. Brexit wins, lower taxes and growth. The government should take this seriously. And of course I did a video yesterday about this government and its 3 times pledge to put a cap on care costs. And it's still basically abandoning it because they can't do it. They just can't or won't choose to do it. Mr. Johnson's decision to go all but ends any prospect of his returning as a Tory leader before the next election, although he left the door open for a future comeback, saying he was stepping back, at least for now. I don't think so. I think he'll stand. I think he's pulled out, and I think he'll stand at that by-election, and I think he'll win it. It also ends the Tory dreams of a truce with Mr. Sunak that could have seen Mr. Johnson campaign for the party in the Red Wall, where his popularity remains high. As I'm saying, it's his personal charm. Sunak is finished. I'm not going to go through the rest of this. Sunak is absolutely finished. He is done. He knows it now, and that's of course why he was over in America schmoozing them all, topping up his green card, making sure that's all up to date, and preparing. He's probably house hunting because he knows the moment he's out, Sunak and his billionaire non-tax-paying wife will be up on that first plane and the hell out of this country to go to America. That's as simple as it is. But he really needs to go now. The Tory party need to look at the damage that Sunak has done to this party and to the country and oust him. And that is, and not just him and Hunt and all the other liars. I mean, I know, I can see his face, can't think of his name. Oh, it was on Love Island. No, Love Island. It was in the jungle. Anyway, they all lied. They all lied all the way through the COVID thing. They just looked at people. They told lies. They knew they were lying. They were saying it's for the good of the people. It was not. Some of the decisions they made were simply because Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland said, I will do it this way. And they said, oh God, she's bounced us into it. We better do it as well. Otherwise we look weak. You'd have looked stronger if saying, I don't know why she's doing that. That seems a bit over the top, and we've checked with the experts and it's not necessary. And then bounced it back to her. You could have done that and come strong and not put people through hell. But they didn't do that. They were weak. They were vacillating. They lied. And this is the Tory party just outright lied. And now, of course, the Tory party is disintegrating. And it's of their own fault. They did this when they got rid of Boris originally. And then you got the 5-minute wonder, and then the very short man, short period in charge, because he'll be gone very soon, Sunak. Anyway, I shall round off and I shall come up. So Rishi Sunak must be sitting there today going, oh my God, I'm in deep, deep trouble, because he's going to have these 3 or 4 by-elections. He's probably going to lose 3 of them, 3 of the 4. 2 of the 3, 3 of the 4, depends, on whether one of the MPs goes up to the Lords. Nadine's obviously gone, but there's another one that was vacillating about it. He's likely to lose 3 of them. If Boris does stand in Uxbridge, which I hope he does, I hope he comes out, does it, stands again and gets whipped back in, Sunak will have to resign. I think it would be there because Boris will have stolen the thunder. He will have shown that he is what the people want. He will have proved a point. He'll have shown that people are rejecting the Tory party, but they're not rejecting Boris Johnson. And I think Sunak's position will become increasingly untenable. He will have driven a rift between the pro and the anti-Borisers within the Tory party. It will become very factional, become very tribal, and no business of government will be able to be done because these two sides will be at each other's face. I think it could even end up in a very early election. I think they could probably pull an early election just to get it out of the way. In which case that would definitely be the end of Sunak. So yeah, I think the next few months are going to be, very entertaining in the world of politics, and we shall follow it. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see in here, please hit that subscribe button. We're getting very close to the 5,000. I'd love to see that as soon as we can. I'd love a little celebration. And also, I'm going to be doing a video at some point today. I'm keeping a very close eye on the count, but I think I'm about to hit a certain number, and I will just put it up. It'll just be a little 30-second thing. But yeah, just keep an eye out for that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you've seen here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, keep watching this show. This is going to be great. Grab your popcorn, and goodbye.